second mark, is a hatred of evil. Look again at verse 9. Let love be genuine. Abhor what is evil. Abhor, it's a strong verb. Hate exceedingly. Detest it. Detest evil. And remember, love is the heading here. Part of biblical love is the hatred of evil. You see, in the Bible, love and hate go together. Love is not fluffy all the time. Sometimes it has sharp edges because love works for what is best. And so what is worst needs to be put in its place. Love is giving of self for the good of another. And evil is not good for anyone. In fact, it's destructive. Origen, early Christian thought leader, said, a person who does not hate the vices cannot love and preserve the virtues. You see, you cannot love rightly without hating rightly. And to do that, we got to love what God loves and we got to hate what God hates, which is evil. And God defines what is good and what is evil. By the way, you can't even define evil apart from God. To determine what's good and determine what's evil requires a universal absolute standard. And secularism has no basis for this. They don't have a universal absolute standard. They have no basis for good and evil and determining what's good and evil. Really, it's just all personal preference according to their worldview. But we learn here and all over the Bible, there is absolute, objective good and evil. Contrary to what our culture says, which is so relativistic and pluralistic and postmodern. So we just got to know this is contrary to the way most Americans think and have thought for a long time. In fact, listen to Alan Bloom. He wrote this 33 years ago in The Closing of the American Mind. He said, there's one thing a professor can be absolutely certain of. Almost every student entering the university believes, or says he believes, that truth is relative. That was in 1987. How much more so today? But for us, there is absolute good and evil, and God defines it. And here's where we just got to realize that so much of what our world celebrates, God calls evil, and he calls his people to hate evil. So real love is concerned with right and wrong, with good and evil. And again, our culture just doesn't get this at all. The mantra there is, if it feels good, do it. If it works for you, do it. And I'm afraid that too many Christians are influenced by the world in this regard. I'm afraid too many Christians do not abhor what is evil. Instead, we'll watch it and we'll listen to it and we'll celebrate it. We'll pay for it. We'll laugh at it. So friends, we got to be on guard against worldliness. Listen to the way theologian David Wells defines worldliness. He says, worldliness is what makes sin look normal in any age and righteousness seem odd. Worldliness is what makes sin the norm and righteousness odd. Friends, we think about just the media we consume. Almost every single show on television or Netflix makes sin look normal and makes holiness odd. Flip over to Ephesians chapter 5. Listen to what Paul says in chapter 5 about worldliness. Ephesians 5:3. But sexual immorality and all impurity or covetousness must not even be named among you, as is proper among saints. Let there be no filthiness, nor foolish talk, nor crude joking, which are out of place, but instead let there be thanksgiving. For you may be sure of this, that everyone who is sexually immoral or impure, or who is covetousness, that is, an idolater, has no inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and God. Let no one deceive you with empty words. For because of these things, the wrath of God comes upon the sons of disobedience. Therefore, do not be partners with them. For at one time you were darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. For the fruit of light is found in all that is good and right and true, and try to discern what is pleasing to the Lord. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. For it is shameful even to speak of the things they do in secret. James 4:4. You adulterous people, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with God? Therefore, whoever wishes to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. There is this antithesis. 1 John 2:15. Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and the pride of life is not from the Father, but is from the world. And the world is passing away along with its desires. But whoever does the will of God abides forever.